So my name is Amanda Rief, and my presentation was on high fidelity color and its uses in imaging. The purpose of this presentation is to explain high fidelity color printing, what it is exactly, and how it affects both the print and digital sides of the printing industry, along with color management. So overall, high fidelity color printing is using extra inks or plates of ink color to enhance color vibrance in the printing process, and that can be done through a number of ways. We call this process N color printing because it can be any number of colors that is more than the standard 4-color traditional printing method with cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And you can do it in any number of ways, such as adding in RGB slides or custom colors like orange or green, which are sometimes used, as well as printing specific plate colors that have already been used to enhance those again and add vibrance. And many different ways as well. The thing about this process is that it's very custom on a project-to-project base, and is often made with specific like custom spot ink colors, and it has a more handcrafted feel due to that custom handling that it requires. So for the print side, it really overall means that the gamut printable is much larger than the traditional 4-color printing process. It does require specialized training and an eye to compensate with specific color correction techniques because there are all of these other colors involved or more saturated versions of these colors. So it takes a lot more to fine-tune with like gray color replacement or gray component replacement, sorry, as well as different spot checking here and there and bringing down certain tone values if they get a little bit too saturated depending on the image. The overall summary to the printing side is that it is much more costly to do the multi-ink process with more than the 4 colors. And the 4-color process, the CMYK, is standardized because it is kind of the more cheap, easy way to do it, though it doesn't necessarily have the quality. And for the digital side, you do have to accommodate for everything that you're doing in your ICC profiles, not only on your computer but in your program if you're using an Adobe program like Photoshop, for instance. And then you also have to match that to whatever your output is, whether it's a specific printer or anything else that needs to be matched on there. And with these specific high fidelity color printing processes, a lot of the ICC profiles are custom made depending on what combination of colors are used. So there honestly is no standardization that is very widespread because everybody is kind of doing their own thing based off of what they need and what they are used to. But it doesn't necessarily compare across the board in any way, and it makes it harder for the overall widespread use of this technique to become popular. And as you can see on this diagram, the color gamut of the expanded multicolor 6, 7, or 8 or whatever color printing process you're using is much more expanded and larger than the traditional 4-color printing process, but it still doesn't nearly match everything that we can get digitally. So overall, this is a technology that's very interesting to me and has been up and coming for the past 2 decades almost, but it's just been very slow to gain any ground or momentum, specifically because of its extra cost associated with it and the extra skill set and training required in order to manage such processes as well. But it does have a lot of potential, and from my personal experience, it could be specifically useful for photography printing, especially with high-end printing and competitions. The quality of the print color matters a lot, and the tonality and the details, and having that high-fidelity printing capability to get just a little bit more vibrance and saturation and detail in those colors can really take it up a notch and set you above the rest.